this delicate relationship, balance between tradition and self-creation, right? How does one show an indebtedness to the past, right? As one, right? As one try to, as desperate as the moment may seem now, speak to the particulars, right, of our current troubles. How does one, show the requisite piety and irreverence, right? That to be able to tell the old people who try to tell us what to do, no, y'all need to just go and sit down now. And let us
you
do
can
this.
tell them that. I'm not.
No, but you think about it. And the thing is that they oftentimes they get mad at us, but that's what SNCC did.
They absolutely did, and yet they seem to have forgotten that.
That's what they did.
Well, SNCC people are always giving me jobs to do. They give me,
you're one of them SNCC
like,
babies.
you're supposed to be, and I'm like, I'm not even in the state. What's happening? Right? Yes, there's lots of jobs, but I think that's. But I love the way that you said that, because I think in some ways that brings us to the question we began with, because part of what you're describing is a sense, an awareness of tradition, right? And a kind of, and even a sense of a kind of fidelity to it in its substance, and also, and a commitment to community, the commitment to one's people, but also the self-actualization piece, right? Because when you're talking about not reducing oneself, not committing suicide by imitation, you are actually, that's the self-actualization, that's the self-creation, right? Which I think is another piece. And I will say, as a movement baby, the part of the pressure to not, and it's a movement baby, but also as a Southern child, don't think too much of yourself, right? Don't get too big for your britches.
Your britches.
You're supposed to. So the one hand is care about the community, do for the people. On the other hand, don't get a big head. Those pressures can also make it hard to get to the point where you understand how important it is to self-actualize as part of understanding what your contribution is going to be. And I think that's something that that's something I feel confident imparting to young people. That's something to teach them.
It's just difficult. And I know, we got to bring it coming to the end of here, but that's the difficult part, because, you impart it in this moment and it gets caught up in the solution of the kind of narcissism of this self-therapeutic moment, that then everything is so inwardly concerned, and other regarding gets lost, and you just simply preoccupied with self-creation. And hold up, what happened to justice here? What happened to building, what happened to the pursuit of the common good? What happened to building the beloved community? Because, so it becomes a dangerous moment when you say, okay, self-creation is critical in this moment. I think it's a form of politics, actually. Right? Self-creation in pursuit of justice is a form of politics.
Oh, I love that.
And what do I mean by, I get this out of the tradition, right? So when the enslaved dares to steal literacy, to steal the written word, and to write herself into existence, just to a sonnet. And that becomes an expression of who she is over and against the world that says she can be nothing but chattel. And she does it. That act, right, becomes an announcement, right? I am not what the world says I am. I am not lost in this particular generalization about who we are, right? I am me. I am what I am, to use Ellison's language, right?
Oh, yeah. That's
right? So then, but to do that, to understand that to do that requires a different kind of world. So I can't be fully me in a world that declares that I'm less than. So in order for me to be fully me, in order for me to engage in the self-creation requisite to actualize my full potential, I have to work to create a world So now self-creation is in what? The service of justice.
See, I love this because for many reasons, but I love it part because for me, it answers what is often uncomfortable for me about Afrofuturism. Because I'm like, okay, so what's different, right? The person who imagined the enslaved person who imagined freedom is a futurist, right? What's it, right? Like it's imagination. What's it, right? But this is, I love the sort of weaving together that which one does under the conditions of captivity, in relation to the conditions of captivity, right? What one does under the conditions in relation, and then also with community in relation to the captivity. Those pieces for me, they have to be together for it to feel, yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a narcissistic preoccupation,
right? Or it's just the fantasy of the future.
Right.
Because we have to live, right? Because this is what I feel like I'm always saying. People had to live. They were born, lived, and died enslaved, and they still lived. Right? People still lived. Locked up. People, right? And so to render that as nothing, which is sort of the Afro-pessimist sensibility, absolutely, I think is indecent. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think, we have to release ourselves from the shackles of the past that demands our supplication so that we can love it, so that we can cherish it appropriately in our own unique way of being in the world. It seems to me at the end of the day. And even when we deal with our feelings, right, we still get to the table. Still get to the desk.
Absolutely.
Whether it's going to be worth anything when you hand it off to them, or whether it matters in the end, I suppose, we're still going to do what we do, right? And we'll do it together. Absolutely.